Hello my friends, William Poloniak here again from Whole Health Foundation. Today I'm going to pick some vegetables from my garden for my next large batch of juice. And the first thing we're going to pick is red Swiss chard. Let's take a look. And I'm going to take off the large bottom leaves of many of these plants. Okay, the next thing I'm going to pick is a few large beets. That's our medium one. Another small one. Let's see if we can get something a little bit larger. There's one. Oh, there's a nice big one. There's 3 of them. And next we'll go over and pick some celery. When I planted this, I thought it was parsley, but it looks like they are celery plants. So I'm going to pull out a whole bunch, cut the root off. And we'll take these baby celeries. What I'll do here is I'll plant a couple of these, replant a couple of these, maybe 3 of them. Make sure they get water a little bit later, because they are way too crowded the way they are. Next I'm going to take this broccoli that's going to seed, and we'll juice that as well. Greens. Okay, I'm going to pick some homegrown garlic. And while I'm at it, let's see, take and while I'm at it, I'm going to plant some new garlic here from a garlic bulb that I got at the supermarket. We'll just push each of these cloves into the garden. As you can see from my garden harvest, I'm going to make a juice from all of the greens that I harvested from my garden, plus some carrots. Let's take a closer look at my ingredients. Well, for my ingredients in this juice, I've got collard greens, red Swiss chard, the beets, broccoli from the garden, the celery, the baby celery, homegrown garlic, some cilantro and carrots, and of course some turmeric. Well, I'm going to start by putting on the 5-blade near zero blowback cutter that has over 18 teeth cut into each blade. This enables you to make juice at 4 degrees centigrade cooler temperatures. So let's put on the cutter. And the first thing I'm going to do is plug in the thermometer and feed in 3 ice cubes to cool down the cutter in the feed tube. Now the secret is to push the ice through slowly. You want the cold to transfer to the feed tube and the cutter. Next we'll start with some greens, and I'm going to start with the red Swiss chard. Now here's the last of my red Swiss chard. And next I'm going to put in my collard greens. Now beet tops are very, very fibrous, so I'm going to clean my grid and we'll continue with the rest of the beets. We're done with the beets, and next I'm going to put the garlic through, and then the cilantro. Tops and all. The rest of my cilantro. Next, some broccoli. I want to remind you, my broccoli was starting to bolt to seed in my garden, so I had to pick it. I didn't want it to go to waste or make seeds. Now, before I do my carrots, I'm going to do my baby celery. Now for my carrots. Now I want to point out one of the things I love about this front-loading feed tube is you can see in here, and I can see that even though I put some carrots through, there's still some greens in here. So I'm going to put in 2 or 3 more small carrots and then clean my grid and do the rest of my carrots. One good tip about mixing your produce is to go in both directions for a really good mix. I want to get all those carrots mixed with the greens. When greens are mixed with carrots, it does not stick to the juicing cloths. Next, I'm going to demonstrate my 6 cloth less work method, and then later show you how I get 10% more juice using a Whole Health Foundation model juicer. Just as a reminder, never leave the cutter on the machine. Always remove it, put it with the hole facing down so that it gets air circulating in there to dry it. So let's start with 3 scoops of pulp into each cloth. We're going to press 2 cloths full at each pressing. So fold it in thirds, little crease back here. Pull that in, watch with my fingers as I pull it in, set it aside. Now watch my folding technique. In thirds. Little crease here to enable you to fold it better. And with your fingers, you're going to pull this under, as tight a package as you can make it, set it aside. And then, when you're on your last cloth, after your first scoop, advance that all the way. Watch again as you pull this under. Now this goes forward, this goes over, your spent cloths go on top. 2 more cloths in the press. Centered left to right, centered front to back, adjust it if need be, all the way back, back it up. Now there's puddling in here and in the bowl. So what I'm going to do is take the pulp, you'll notice I have puddling here. So I'm going to take the dry pulp, crush it up, put it in the puddle to absorb all that excess juice that's puddling into my folding container. Now because I have puddling here, I'm going to hold this very carefully and pour this into the collection bowl. Now my collection bowl is full, so I'm going to back that off. I don't want that to spill. And into the bowl, and now I'll put them into bottles. Now I'm going to set this back so that it's very, very obvious. Do not set it back just a tiny bit. Set it back so it's very obvious. So into some bottles will go. I'm filming this from the back side so the camera gets a good view of what I'm doing. And you'll notice I'm leaving about 10% to add some filtered or distilled water. I don't like my juice to be too strong. I think pure juice, especially for a diabetic, is not a good idea. So let's make more juice. Now the second less work 6-cloth method is to put 2 scoops on top of the old pulp, which you do not throw away until the very end. 2 scoops, not 3 scoops. Now this patty is going to get thicker and thicker, so toward the end of the process, we'll put only 1 scoop on top. This goes forward, that goes over, your spent cloths go on top. Now what I'm going to do next is repackage this to show you how I can get 10% more juice out of that. And the juice that comes from your last 10% of your press is your most valuable juice. So we'll press this into a tight package and repackage it. And look at my folding technique. I'm going to fold this under 2, 3, 4, maybe even 5 or 6 times. And do that in both directions. So I get a very, very tight package. And I'm folding it under to minimize slippage, because this is under tremendous pressure. Advance that all the way. Now I've repackaged the spent pulp into 3 double packets. I'm going to use a measuring beaker to see how many more ounces of juice we can get. Usually it's about 10 to 14 ounces of juice. So we'll put these double packets in here. That's a tight fit. Securely on the press, centered, left to right, centered front to back, and that's very, very important. All the way back, and as soon as I get juice flow, I'm going to back that off. Well, so far we have 16 ounces extra. There we have 18, almost 19 ounces of juice, and my container's full, so I'm going to back it off and pour that into my collection container. And then we'll fill more bottles. As you can see, I'm topping off these bottles with about 10% of water, either filtered or distilled. Well, as you can see, I have 5, 10, 15, 19 bottles of juice, plus enough for a taste test. And one of these bottles, more than one of these bottles, was from pressing the already spent pulp. Well, let's do a taste test. Well, my friends, here we have a taste test. Delicious, and I can actually taste the cilantro. Well, I hope you like what you've seen, and if you do, please tell a friend. If you'd like to phone me, my phone number is 760-753-0321. My email address is developtrust@cox.net, and my webpage is wholehealthfound.com. See you in the next video.